much for having me. My name is Andrea Libman, and I'm a voice actor. And you may have heard my voice on, I don't know, maybe a show called My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Maybe. Or you may have heard it in Madeline as Madeline. Or Dragon Tales as Emmy. Or Dragon Ball, Chi-Chi. Or Gundam 00 as Elaine. Yes, X-Men Evolution. You know my resume better than me, so I'm glad you're here. So I'm here today for you guys to answer any questions you might have. And I'd love to hear from you, so go ahead, ask me. I think Mike's going to come around.
So, what got you into voice acting for shows like Dragon Ball as Chi-Chi and Pinky Pie and Fluttershy in My Little Pony?
So I have a bit of a unique start compared to other voice actors because I started when I was so young. I was 6 when I got into the business, and I started in film and TV. And because I was able to read really well, I started doing voice acting, had a really high voice, and started auditioning, and that was that. Just kind of went from there. The first series I ever worked on was Dino Babies. I don't know if anyone knows that one. I was in La Brea. Yes, it was a long time ago. And then just lucky, I guess, to live in Vancouver, where I'm from, and have lots of animation going on there, anime, all kinds of things. So just kind of went from there.
Hands up.
Hi.
Hi.
From a fellow engineer, what's your favorite mathematical constant?
Pie. Pinky Pie.
So while we're on the topic of mathematics,
No.
I'll be attending the Palm Springs Math Convention going down this November.
No, I've never heard of it. Are you?
It is one of the biggest math conventions in the United States.
I don't do as much math these days. I do more voices. Why do I do voices and not math? Anyone? I do appreciate math though, so yeah, math. Woo.
Grade A students.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. What is your favorite character to voice act besides of the My Little Pony characters?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. Probably Madeline. I did Madeline for so many years. It's just really special to me, I guess, and it's just such a beautiful production that I'm really proud to be a part of.
When you're playing Pinkie Pie, you have to talk really fast and really high for a long period of time and do a lot of laughing and crazy noises. How do you get into that process, and do you have any tips for us?
I just go. Like that, and then I just go as fast as I can, as crazy as I can, and then I just rely on the directing team to say, okay, we have no idea what the heck you just said. Probably have to slow it down a bit, so I just go for it.
Hi, I was wondering, in a process, like, for every episode, what is the process to voice acting?
How does it work?
Yes, like, in a process-wise.
Okay, so we get our scripts, and you read them, and every actor is different when it comes to that with how they like to prepare. I like to personally under-prepare because I like to allow for spontaneity in the room and reacting to what the other actors are doing. So I usually kind of really read my script quickly. I don't like to think about it too much. I look for if there's going to be anything really weird coming up, like, oh, you have to do a Jamaican accent. Okay, I might have to do some research on that, and just go through it, and then we all arrive. We're all in the same room to do a show, and then we go through the script. It depends on the director. We might do it scene at a time. We might do an act, and then we just play off each other, and we all have our own microphones, and we're in kind of a semicircle, and then there's glass, and then there's the director and engineers on the other side, and then they press a button and they talk to us, and then they can unpress the button and talk about us behind our back, and just kind of let it go. And I think, to me, usually the best results come from when everyone's playing off each other, everyone's there, and you might allow for something unexpected to happen, and that's usually when funny stuff arises. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Come on, don't be shy.
You do the voice of Fluttershy as well, right?
Yes. Yay. So does he.
When you're in a situation where Pinky Pie and Fluttershy have to have a conversation, two very dissimilar characters, how well does that work out for you? Do you do it both at the same time, or do you record them separately?
Now I do it both at the same time. You kind of, at the beginning, it was a little bit, you're getting into your characters, you're finding them, and sometimes let's go back and pick it up separate, but now we just go for it. We don't want to disturb the flow, I guess, and I guess practice makes perfect, so I can go back and forth pretty quickly now.
Hey, so have you done much voice acting for video games? And if so, how is the process different than for animation?
I haven't really done a lot. I've done a few, and the process is similar, except for everything is more secret and cool. But I haven't done a ton. I think my voice is so high, and it's really, most of what I do is geared towards kids, and sunshine, and sparkles. I would love to do more, but usually it's just like a crying girl. That's okay. You take what you can get, right?
What's it like to work with other voice actors associated with My Little Pony?
It's terrible. It's so hard. I can barely get out of bed in the morning. No, it's awesome. It's so fun. I think that show has a great cast, and everyone's awesome. Such talented people and such really great people too. So it's a treat.
So you voiced both Pinky Pie and Fluttershy. Were you surprised that you were doing two characters for the same show?
Yes.
How rare is it for a voice actor to get two roles in the same show at once?
Oh, it's not rare at all. It's actually very, very common. You guys have probably heard of Tabitha St. Germain. Yeah. She does, like, every show she's in, she's doing tons of characters. But it's more unique for me to have been cast as two roles because I have a really unique voice. So a lot of times I just play, 6-year-old girl. So it's really fun for me to be able to do two.
Hi, what's it like working with Hasbro in general? I mean, the company, as far as working as a voice actor with them. Do you really enjoy working with them as an employee?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I really, really do. It's really fun, and it's such a big company, and I really enjoy seeing all the merchandise, the toys that come out of that. I mean, it's awesome.
And Brony-related fan art and stuff, right?
Yes, definitely.
Do you prefer doing, say, original animation, or do you prefer more the anime voice acting?
Anime voice acting is more challenging to do. So when you do an original, you have a lot more freedom. You can change the story potentially by being in the room. You can come up with an idea and say, what about this? So you're contributing a lot more. So, but anime is, it's so different, right? Because you have to match the flaps that are already there. It's harder to do. It's visual and audio, and it just takes a lot more. But it's so cool to be a part of something that already has history, that people already know about it. So it's fun to do that too. So just two different worlds, I guess.
I was wondering if, I know in the process of voice acting you do a lot of line reading. Have there been any lines that really stick in your mind and just kind of like an earworm that will come out?
Like, that I've had trouble with doing?
I mean like that you can't get out of your head, that are just kind of like stuck there?
Not really. More, songs do that a lot more than lines, I guess. Yeah, when you record a song, it's in your brain for like a year.
My favorite quote in here.
Let's go!
Who's your favorite character and who's your favorite pony in the My Little Pony?
Oh, you know, well, I have to say Pinky Pie and Fluttershy, right? But I also really like Spike. I don't know. They're all, I mean, they all have different things about them that are so charming, and I don't know. I think it's all the ponies together and Spike that make the show what it is. It's so fun to watch.
Cute?
What's that?
Would you say it's more like cute?
Cute?
Yeah.
Did I say that? Yes, it's cute.
Hey, I was wondering, you probably get asked this a lot, but what were your thoughts when you first found out that the bronies were forming?
Forming? Like coming together like dust? We were recording an episode, and one of the directors said, hey, there's bronies. And we're like, no, there's not. What are you talking about? Whatever. Then you go home, you're like, oh, Google. What's he talking about? And then you're kind of, okay, I guess there's a few people out there that like the show, maybe like 10. That's cool. Then you're like, oh, do you want to come to this convention? I'm like, really? You want me to come to something? So then when I finally started meeting people in person, that's really when it sunk in for me that it's a big deal and it's awesome.
You were talking about, over here.
Hi.
You were talking about a conversation, you were talking about your process with conversation between two characters that you play, such as Pinky Pie and Fluttershy. Can we get a demonstration of that, of what it's like?
Sure. So, don't worry about a thing, just trust your Auntie Pinky Pie. I'm a year older than you.
Pinkie Pie approves. Do you have any funny stories from the booth?
No. I should come up with one that I just... I mean, it's funny all the time kind of thing, so a lame answer. We have a lot of fun, but I can't think of one in particular.
Andrea, just one question. Who's your favorite brony musician?
I don't know, I'm not familiar with a lot of music, I have to admit. The only person that I know is Mando Pony. I think because Michelle Creeper does so much with him that, so I guess that's my favorite. It's the only one I know.
I was wondering, how long does it usually take to voice a single episode of My Little Pony?
It takes 4 hours.
4 hours for 30 minutes.
Yes. And longer than that. If there's a song, you can double that. At least. find a pet?
Like, what's it like to hear yourself, like, hear your own?
It's awful. It's like listening to yourself on the answering machine. Nobody likes that, right?
Is your answering machine Fluttershy saying you're not home now?
No, it's me trying to be like a grown-up voice. Not be like, can I speak to your mom, please? You've reached Andrea Libman. I'm of age.
How do you recommend a person go about getting into the process of voice acting? Is it best to move to Canada? Is that
There's a ton going on in LA too. You know, just look at Tara Strong, right? She works out of here and she does tons. So I have no idea how it works down here, and I'm not the best person to ask because I had such a weird way of getting into it. I kind of fell into it. But I know that these days, usually if someone wants to get into voice acting, you'll put together a demo of all the different stuff you can do, and then you shop it around to an agent. I hear that's what they're doing these days.
Who's your favorite villain in My Little Pony?
Villain?
Not gonna move.
Discord! I think it has to be Discord.
How long were you able to keep saying pickle barrel kumquat until you tripped up
Pickle bear kumquat, pickle bear kumquat. It's hard. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Probably not very many. You probably had to cut and paste it together.
Pickle bear kumquat, pickle bear kumquat.
But you've been practicing.
What's it like working with the guy that voiced Discord?
Oh, I've actually never met him, and we didn't work together to do it. All we knew is that we obviously saw the script, and there's a character, and there's no one in the room with us. And then later, it was like, oh, it's a famous person.
Saved aboard the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Cute.
So it was pretty cool just to find that out later.
I hope he returns next season. It'd be cool to see him.
Screwball. All right. In the party of one episode, when you actually saw Pinkie Pie with her hair down, being like Pinkamia, did you feel like when you were saying her lines for that moment, like you were going crazy, like you were matching what you were seeing?
Well, we don't see anything.
Oh.
So when we're in the room, we've got the animation director there, and he may describe what's going on, but there's no visuals. It's voice first. So yes, I felt crazy without even seeing anything.
Oh,
Didn't have to. It was a lot of fun to do. It was just, I think it was a really well-written episode and fun to do, and I felt super crazy after. And super tired.
Hey again. I was wondering, so is there like a separate process for auditioning? Like, because I know like some of the voice actresses, like you and Ashley, do both singing and speaking roles, whereas some of the other parts, like Twilight and Rarity, have separate voice actresses, singing actresses. Is that like 2 auditions for the same role, or how does that work?
You know, I'm the actor, so I'm not the right person to ask about that kind of thing. It's all the production that decides those things, and it's based on all kinds of things, like availability. You know, I do the singing voice of Fluttershy, and sometimes Pinkie Pie, but not always. And it's not my say, so I think sometimes it's availability, sometimes it's like, maybe they want more separation between those 2 singing voices. Yeah.
Did you ever accidentally while you were on the internet, stumble onto fanfics?
Oh, God.
cautious on the internet, and I learned about those things from you guys. When I meet you in person, you guys come up to me and you go, "Don't look at this." I'm like, "Okay." So I've heard that there's some really great ones, and I've heard that there's some not so great ones, and you know, it's creativity. It's people have a right to express themselves, and it's pretty amazing that all these artists feel so inspired by the show. I think if I read every single thing and looked at everything, I'd have to quit my job and just stay at home and do that. 'Cause there's so much, right? So I look at the odd thing. I really love art. Like I like seeing what kind of artists' drawings. That's kind of what I like to look at. Usually it's safe. Yeah, I know.
How did it feel to voice angry Fluttershy?
Yeah, that was really challenging because it's so out of character for her. So I think that was maybe the most difficult episode to record for me because it was working with it to try and not go too out of character, like still be her, but you know, express the anger and yeah, hopefully it came off okay. Hopefully you guys liked it. You're going to love it!
Hello? Over here.
Hello?
Hi.
It's like the voice.
I was just wondering, can you do a Fluttershy yay for me? Because that's
Sure.
my favorite line.
I'd love to.
Yes.
Everybody in this room loves you.
Really? So you guys are great. Great questions, and I'm so happy you're here. Thank you.
On the subject of John Delancey, he's going to be putting together a Brony documentary. Are you going to be involved in that?
Pardon?
Are you going to be involved in that in any way?
I don't know. We will see. Yeah. I'm kidding.
Hi, I'm wondering, do you have a favorite fan experience so far?
Ooh, that's a cool question. I can't pick one out in particular, but it's so fun to meet fans and especially interacting one-on-one at these conventions. It's really cool to hear people's different stories and people, especially a lot of people who say that the shows really changed their life and made their life better. I mean, that's pretty amazing to hear.
What is your process for learning and recording the songs in My Little Pony?
Well, Daniel Ingram is awesome enough to provide me with sheet music, and I'm a piano player, so I sit down at the piano, and I have the sheet music, and I just go through the notes and learn the melody, 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 and that's my process.
Were you disappointed when you weren't able to finish this your song "Hush Now, Quiet Now"?
No, because I think Michelle did such a great job of finishing it off, right? You can't argue with that.
Hello. So I don't know if this question was already asked, but what's the future of My Little Pony? Like, what do you know that's going to be ahead? Like, what can you? I know you.
Come on, everybody, give this guy a little tisk tisk tisk.
No spoilers! You're gonna ruin the fabric of time.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, let's not ask her to divulge any secrets that she can't, breaching contract or anything like that.
Speaking of songs, I know you do Fluttershy and Pinky Pie, and I don't know if you would know this question, but why doesn't Applejack have any of her own song? Or
Yes.
That's not something that I would be.
At liberty to say.
No, I have no clue. I don't decide those things.
Do you ever mimic any lines that you say from your script on your own, like when you're at home or anything?
No.
had the chance to do the voice of a villain in any of your shows you've done?
Yes, and it's usually in the form of a real snotty girl. I love it. So, yeah.
I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
You do all these cutesy voices, but I gotta ask, when you're doing them, are you drawing from childhood experience or from adulthood experience?
You're not gonna. Now I have an idea of what tomorrow's panel is gonna be like. Grill. I think when you're working, you're drawing from all the experience that you have, and if there's something that you can relate it to, then you're gonna relate it to whatever you have, and a lot of it is not just life experience, but it's also references, everything that you've ever seen. So.
I don't know if you've been asked this question before, but if you could be an earth pony, a Pegasus, or a unicorn, which one would you want to be?
I have been asked that. I think unicorn, so that I could magic things.
Yeah, unicorn for the win.
Hi. I have to ask, have you ever used any of your voices that you've done, like outside of the studio, outside of everything? Like, you went to like a drive-through McDonald's and ordered some Fluttershy.
No, because it doesn't work. That's what I'm saying. Whenever I'm putting on a voice, it's always a deeper voice. Like, can I please get a cab? Or like, haha, where's your mom? Click. My voices don't get me very far in the real world.
I know that working with Miss Faust must have been a good experience, but I was going to ask anyway, what was it personally like working with her when she first started? Because I know she moved on to being just advisory now or whatever.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, she has such a vision, and it's so nice to work with someone that knows all the characters and can answer any question. Like, would Fluttershy do this? She knows, right? Like, she's just so creative, so brilliant, and just has such a big picture for what it's going to be all about. And I think it's a huge reason of why the show is successful.
But on a personal level, she's a good friend of yours, and you guys get along really well, huh?
We don't know each other that well, but I like her a lot. I think she's great, awesome.
Same here.
Yeah.
How would you compare your experiences between doing, let's say, like doing the cutesy voices like you would do on My Little Pony versus something where it's a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more serious, like let's say X-23 from X-Men Evolution?
Yeah, really different. But both, also similar because it's all like output, right? Like it just takes so much energy. And whether you're being dramatic and like in X-Men, like lots of crying and that takes a lot of energy. But it also takes a lot to talk really like Pinky Pie, right? So it's different, but both, but similar. Where you're just like giving of yourself, right? You're just putting it out there.
Yeah, I just wanted to see a bit more of your experiences about working at X-23 because I know everybody's been talking My Little Pony.
I love doing that. I'm so lucky to have been on that show because it's such a change for me. Because I mentioned before, I do lots of Dragon Tales and shows for kids. So it's fun to be in that environment and action.
Serious environment.
Yeah. It's just a change, right? It's exciting.
Work with like Kirby Morrow and
Yeah.
Brad Swale, Venus Terzo.
Yes. I've worked with them all since I was 6. So yeah.
Following up on the McDonald's question, have you ever been recognized in public from your voice? Someone hears you speak and go, you sound just like.
Never, ever, ever. Never, ever. Never, ever, ever. Yeah, that might get a few views, huh? Maybe 10? 1,000? year. I actually did not sing that song, but I'm glad you like it. I get lots of compliments on it. I should just be like, oh, thanks.
Pass the compliments on.
Outside of My Little Pony, before you did that, you were also recognized as Chi-Chi, I believe?
Yes.
From Dragon Ball. Was it Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
Z.
Can I hear Chi-Chi?
Yeah, she was just, actually, you know what? You probably can't because I did it when I was a lot younger. So it was like,
You give it a try.
yeah, I think she was just quite high and also kind of sweet. And I don't know what my dad would say about this. Yeah.
Have you ever heard or read the fanfiction Cupcakes?
I've heard of it and I know the gist, and no, I have not read it.
Don't. Officially scarred.
No more fanfic questions, please.
No!
So technically you've probably been in the voice acting community for a long time. I was just wondering, do you have any voice actors that are inspirations to you?
Oh, definitely. Well, I grew up just watching all these amazing, talented people. Kathleen Barr, definitely Tabitha, Scott McNeil, Sam Vincent. Kind of just, I'm so lucky to have been in this environment of super, super talented, amazing people.
Is there any character you've auditioned for that you didn't get that you think you would have a lot of fun with if you...
Yeah, all the time. That's the hardest part of the business is, I mean, you're constantly auditioning and you don't book everything at all, even close. So, personally, after I audition for something, I try and forget about it. I delete everything. And mentally just kind of have to move on and not care. Otherwise, you go crazy, right? Because you're always thinking. And you can't help, like when you get, I got really worked up when I auditioned for Strawberry Shortcake. So I'm glad I got on that show because that was a childhood show for me. So I was really, like, you can't help it. But you just have to let it go. You just have to forget about it.
What was your favorite episode of work on for My Little Pony?
My favorite episode is Party of One. I'm really proud of it.
Now, on November 3rd, there's going to be another convention here called the Cluster LA, and so far, we haven't had any of the voice actors to actually come and attend. If they asked you, would you be actually interested in actually coming?
Of course,
I think that would be huge.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Cluster LA members here, right here, like Justice and the Spike cosplay. No.
Awesome. Dueling Spikes. Well, actually, that's my cousin. So. Yeah. So she wins by default.
Speaking of Party of One, did you do the voices for the inanimate objects? Did you do the?
Yes.
Can you care to share?
You know, it takes a lot to do all those, so I'm not going to try and... I should maybe memorize it so I can present it. Maybe on November 3rd.
Well, now I have to bug you with a question.
Uh-oh.
So I'm planning on making a pony of you, as you've seen my Galloping Pinky. So you've already said you wanted to be a unicorn. What would your cutie mark be?
Ooh, I have been asked that before. Pie symbol? I don't know, like something to do with being a nerd, which I totally am. Like I'm a book nerd and I'm totally a math nerd. But I'm also really music-y.
How about a cutie mark within a cutie mark?
What's that?
How about a cutie mark within a cutie mark?
It just gets really complicated, right?
It's a cutie markception.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it.
Comic-Con icon for the San Diego one.
Yeah?
Use their
Cutie mark is
icon
Pinky
for
Pie.
cutie marks.
Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Copy.
What
What happens when some pony breaks a pinky promise?
Is that one of those secrets you can't divulge?
No, everybody knows that you just can't.
You just can't.
Right? Everybody knows.
Yeah.
I'm watching you.
You said you're a huge nerd. Can I ask what your favorite book is?
Pride and Prejudice. Awesome. Thanks, guys. But everything. I love reading.
I guess like to go on that, like so what's your favorite composer or music?
I really like Chopin and Debussy.
You've been working with some really other popular voice actors, and they have started to realize like the power that they have in this kind of community. I mean,
They have? What are they doing? They're like controlling people's minds. I gotta get in on that.
I follow you on Facebook and all the things, and Tara Strong show posts some things that's like, they know how to roll with the punches, and they can, really bend us to our will. So is this something you try and refrain from doing? Since, you have a personal army on your hands right here. We will do anything you say. And is this something that you want to refrain from getting too much ego from or too much power from?
That's too late. I'm totally deep now. Well, that's very nice to hear. I will try and only use my power for good. What's that?
On Facebook your posts, it's the sweetest thing all the time.
Oh, thank you. It's all a facade. Just kidding. No, I'll try not to get too much of a big head. And if I do, you tell me.
Just eat a Snickers bar, that'll get rid of it.
Yeah. Good one.
How would you react, and what was the first thing you do if you woke up one morning in Ponyville, and that's a unicorn?
I'd be really freaked out. Someone's taking their work home with them a little bit too much.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering how tight-knit the voice acting community truly is, and if you would know, given the situation that you were actually put into voice acting, but I don't know if that makes any sense, how difficult it would actually be to get into the voice acting community now.
Again, you gotta know an agent.
Getting into the business?
Yeah, and
Okay, well, I can only speak for Vancouver. That's where I am and what I know. It is a small community, but people get in. It's just, if you're talented, there's no arguing with that. And people who are really talented and come in and do great auditions, I think, book work, and that's kind of what it is. It's just such a specialized skill set, I guess, and you may have the coolest voice in the world, but do you know how to work with a microphone? And so, is that right? Did I answer what you asked?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Okay. You're just
So
being
when you
nice.
first started, hello, hi. So when you first started out voice acting, how did you figure out your range from doing Pinky Pie's more serious voices to Fluttershy? Did you have to record yourself all the time and actually listen to yourself, or was it just a natural thing that came to you?
I don't like to listen to myself, so definitely not that. I guess just sort of playing around and trying something different. With Pinky Pie and Fluttershy, their characters are so well defined that it was just my take on the description. So when I auditioned for them, I wasn't trying to get both roles or anything like that. It ended up that way, and I think through separating them is how they became so extremely crazy and shy.
A lot of your work has been with a lot of the voice actors and actresses from the 2000s of Killer Shirt and gone through the list a few times already. Have you had a chance to work with some of the ones that are like from the 90s, like Susan Roman, Lenore Zahn, Alison Court,
Yep.
Catherine Disher, Norm Spencer?
Yes.
Norm Spencer.
Cyclops from X-Men 92.
So I was wondering, back on the topic of like songs and music, I know you guys work pretty closely with both like Daniel and also the writers, especially like Megan McCarthy. So as voice actresses, how much input do you get to have on like how the writing is shaped, and do you get an opportunity to like say, you know, like, oh, I would like Fluttershy to have a song that would be, you know, in X episode or anything like that?
For the most part, no. But that means I've never influenced really. I mean, apart from having a story that's already done and then you're in the studio, maybe you come up with a little deviation, that happens all the time. But as far as the big picture, we're really not involved. But that being said, Megan is a really awesome person. I met her for the first time last month. And she said, yeah, if you guys have ideas, let me know. And I've never been told that before, so I think that's really cool. I don't have a lot of ideas though. But I mean, she's the awesome writer, so I just leave it up to her.
Have you ever taken a Brony personality quiz, and which pony did you get if you did?
Yes. I think one time I was Applejack. I got Applejack and I got Twilight Sparkle. It's like, do you like dogs? You are Applejack. Okay. Who doesn't like dogs?
All right. Going back with the music, seeing if you could influence them. If they ever came up to you and said that they are going to have a song with Pinky Pie and Fluttershy, would you ever do that? Seeing as like you'd have to be singing both roles. Well, actually, you might be singing both roles or something along those lines.
Yeah, of course. No problem. Well, you just record them separately, right? You can't sing two characters at the same time. Or can you? Maybe if I was a unicorn.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions. Right behind you. I also want to let you guys know that when the panel is over, we're going to ask you to remain seated so that Ms. Libman can be escorted out.
Like a prisoner.
You know, she seems all sweet and everything, but when she came in here, it was
Yeah.
you should have seen that.
It's all facade.
Also, as you head out, we will be giving stamps for your passports, for passport holders, on your way out the door if you didn't get it already. Also, let you know that the autograph session will be in Hall A, and that is at 12 o'clock. I will be at 12 o'clock. Okay? So we got 2 more questions back here.
I know you said you didn't have any specific stories from your voice acting in the booth or anything, but do you have a story about your worst experience in the booth?
Oh, so sad. You know, yeah, it can be a really tough business, and sometimes you can be in the booth and maybe there's a client on the other side of the glass that has never worked with an actor before, that kind of thing. And they can be, you know, sometimes you don't know how to phrase that maybe you're not liking someone's performance. So I think that's tough. Like, you're constantly taking criticism, always, 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 but there's a certain way to say it that's professional, and then there's a way sometimes it can come off as hurtful. So I've definitely had my share of tears in the booth. But you know, that's definitely part of the job. So.
Hi. If Fluttershy never got cured from Poison Joke, how do you think it would have affected her in the long run?
I guess I would be fired. That'd be terrible.
All right. Thank you so much for your questions, guys.
Thank you.
last words of wisdom or a message you want to give to everybody?
Oh, I just want to thank you all for your awesome questions, and you guys are awesome. It's so great to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Once again, don't forget, the autograph session is at 12 o'clock in the hall day.
Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you.
Give it up, give it up, give it up.